Now let's see the placement of Saturn in the Taurus sign in your natal chart. So if Saturn is placed in the Taurus sign in your natal chart, and now the transiting Saturn is going into the Pisces sign. So from Saturn's perspective, which is placed in the Taurus sign in your natal chart, the transiting Saturn is going 11 houses away from the natal Saturn. So this is the 11th replacement. Now, again, there are no common houses that either of the two Saturns are influencing, because they are not aspecting any house with their common aspect. However, the transiting Saturn is aspecting the natal Saturn with its third aspect. So what is the transiting Saturn saying? The transiting Saturn is saying that if you need to make more money, if you need to have more stability, Saturn is stability and Taurus sign is the sign of money, nutrition, livelihood. So if you need to have a stability in earning potential, in your nutrition, in your earning potential, then you'll have to work more hard. You'll have to put in more effort over the next 2.5 years, while Saturn, the transiting Saturn remains in the Pisces sign. And the transiting Saturn is also aspecting the 5th house of change in career, change in work. Because from a natal Saturn perspective, the transiting Saturn rules both the 10th house and the 9th house. However, it is also aspecting with its 10th aspect, the career aspect, the Sagittarius sign in the 8th house. So to earn money, to get better livelihood, you will have to overcome obstructions, challenges, problems. However, you will have to ensure that you are making good network connections. Your ability to work with people is enhanced, and you are able to create better rapport with people who you work with and your bosses. Now, this is from a natal Saturn perspective. However, suppose, let's take the example of your natal Saturn being in Taurus in some rising sign, just taking some rising sign at random. So let's say your rising sign is Sagittarius, and in your Sagittarius rising sign, ascendant sign, Saturn is in your natal chart in the Taurus sign, and the transiting Saturn is going into the Pisces sign, into your 4th house. Now from your 4th house, from your rising sign perspective, the natal Saturn is placed in the 6th house in the Taurus sign. So here, this is a good placement in your natal chart, because Saturn rules the 2nd house of income and the 3rd house of effort, which means the income and effort is coming from service connected to money, because it is in Taurus, which is the sign of money, nutrition, livelihood. And Saturn, the transiting Saturn is getting into the 4th house of assets and aspecting the natal Saturn with the 3rd aspect, which means if you have made effort and if you're ready to make effort, bend your back, then in these 2.5 years, you may make a lot of assets. You may get more conveniences. You may be able to influence your career to be able to even get growth and enhance your stature in society also. So this is overall, if your rising sign is Sagittarius, then this will bring, just to give one example, I took Sagittarius, you could have taken any other example. So this is going to be a good transit. So if you have Saturn in the Taurus sign, do see from a rising sign perspective how many houses Saturn, the natal Saturn is placed from your transiting Saturn, and which houses both of them are influencing.